Hello everyone, my name is Adla and I work for the Inuit Center for Inuit children, youth and their families. And I am the Senior Bridging the Gap presenter. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about traditional Inuit games. Traditional Inuit games have been around for thousands of years. There are many different reasons on why we play our games. But there are three main reasons to why we play our games. Reason number one was to help keep us fit, strong, and agile to help us with hunting. Inuit were nomadic people. We moved from spot to spot to spot wherever the best hunting was. So our camps were constantly moving, and in order to keep up with that and to hunt and to take care of our families and our children, we had to be physically fit in order to survive. So these games helped keep us in shape. Number two, long time ago, there were no smartphones, there was no TV and cable and internet, so you had to find different ways to keep yourselves entertained. So we have physical games, we have mental games, we have games that are meant to make you laugh, we have all sorts of different games. Now the third reason, Inuit lived in small family groups. So to find a husband or a wife within your own group just wasn't happening because you were related to everybody that you traveled with. But at least once a year, Inuit from in the same general area would all meet up in one central location, and then it was a time to trade for furs and clothes and meats, and it was also a chance, an opportunity for the Inuit to play games against each other to figure out who was more physically fit, who was more agile, and it was a way to attract potential mates. So it was about finding a husband or a wife and being well entertained, and it was a way to socialize. Inuit games are about having fun with other people, being competitive, but still being friendly and having a lot of fun. Now, unfortunately, due to COVID times, there are a lot of Inuit games that I just can't demonstrate for you guys today. COVID doesn't allow for these games to be played with each other. Again, because Inuit games are also very social. So most Inuit games require you to be in very close contact with another person. So for today, we are going to skip those games and we're going to demonstrate a few of the individual games. So I brought my son with me today. His name's Damien in English. In Inuktitut, we call him Mayuktuk. And he's gonna help me with demonstrating a few of the games that you guys can try out without having to worry about contracting or giving COVID to somebody else. So the first game that I'm going to get Damien to demonstrate for you guys, I actually learned it when I traveled to Labrador. Again, Inuit are very isolated. We have 53 communities that are all fly-in only. So sometimes certain games are only played by a small pocket of Inuit. And this is one of those games, and it's called Foot to Foot. So this game helps you with your stamina. It means being able to do something for a really long time. As Inuit hunters without vehicles, Inuit needed to have lots of stamina so we could chase down the caribou, so we could run and catch the seal before it sinks in the water. So making sure that your heart was healthy was very, very important for the survival of Inuit. So for foot to foot, again, which is a Labradorian game, you are going to place one foot on top of your other foot. Then you are going to step to the side and put the foot that was on the bottom now on top of the other foot. So you're going to watch my hands, and Damien's going to show you with his feet, but you're going to be doing this sort of thing with your feet. Now you can step side to side and not work your heart, which is no good for this game. So what you need to do is you need to add a hop, and you need to go a little bit faster. So we're going to switch now, and we're going to let Damien show you with his feet. Alright, so the next game that Damien is going to demonstrate, Inuit use this game because we often hunt out on the frozen ice. And being out on the frozen ice is a dangerous place to be, especially when it's frozen ice on the ocean. The ocean, the water underneath the ice is still moving, and that makes for the ice to be a very, very dangerous place to be. We ice fish on that ocean, and we kneel down in front of an ice fishing hole with our lure in order to catch those fish. And sometimes while we're ice fishing, the ice that we're on can begin to crack or begin to move. And so we need to get off of that ice, off of the dangerous ice, and onto safer ice as fast as possible. So we started to practice jumping from our knees up to our feet. Now, once you're able to perform that, how do you make it more difficult, or how do you make it into a game? Well, instead of just jumping straight up and getting out of there as you would in an emergency situation, for the game, you try and jump as far forward as you can go and land on your feet. So the world record for this game, the men's world record, is currently at about 6 feet forward, and the women's world record now sits at 4 feet 7 inches forward. It is absolutely amazing. Myself, when I was in my prime, when I was working out at a gym and I was playing Inuit Games all the time, the furthest I've ever gotten on this game is about 3 feet. Which is still pretty good on its own, but nowhere close to the world record. So there are several rules for this game. When you go down on your knees, you must make sure that your bum is sitting down on your feet. You can't be raised up in the air. You also have to have your feet flat underneath you. You can't have your toes curled underneath. Imagine you're out on the Arctic ice and you're spending hours jigging for fish. If you're up on your tippy toes in minus 40-degree weather, after a couple of minutes, your toes are gonna go numb and they're gonna start to hurt. So we lay our feet flat underneath us, we kneel down, and then we watch our jig. So for this game, you're not allowed curled toes. You're not allowed to work up momentum for this game. You're not allowed to swing your arms and sit up. You have to jump from the sitting position. Once you jump forward, then the distance is recorded for those of you who do track and field, just like the long jump. So whatever part of your body is closest to the line, that's the distance that gets measured. So Damien is now going to show you what this game looks like. And one more time. So one tradition that Inuit have that is actually a game is Inuit throat singing. There are other cultures around the world who do throat singing, but for the other cultures, it's usually a male who's doing it. He's usually by himself or maybe accompanied by a musical instrument. For Inuit, it's always done between two women, and it's an actual game. So in throat singing, you have a leader and you have a follower. The leader's job is to set the sounds, the pace, and the volume of the throat song, and they change all three of those on a regular basis. The job of the follower is to repeat everything that the leader does a split second after the leader does it. So the follower must listen to what the leader is doing, process what they're doing, and then make the exact same sound in a fraction of a second. So it's a brain game between two women. And the object of the game is to make your partner either laugh or run out of breath. So most of the time, throat singing ends with some giggling. Now today, people down south, they like us to do it at ceremonies, at events. They like us to open up things. For instance, on Parliament Hill, last winter, they had a hockey arena, and at the opening ceremony of this hockey arena on Parliament Hill, they had my daughter and her throat singing partner come out and throat sing at center ice to open up the hockey arena. So that's what it's being used for today. But traditionally, throat singing was just simply a game played between two women. Now, if you want more information on Inuit Games, or if you want to watch videos on Inuit Games that you can play after we come out with the COVID vaccine, and once we can start playing games with each other again, you can always go to YouTube and you can type in Arctic Winter Games. Arctic Winter Games are the Olympics of Inuit and Dene games. Every 2 years, competitors get together in the Arctic Circle and they compete for medals and prizes and just for being the best at these games. Now, what's really cool at the Arctic Games is, say you have a competitor who is struggling at an event like the 1 foot high kick. The other competitors who are competing against him or her, instead of just sitting back on the sidelines and watching this other competitor fail, they will actually go and give them pointers. They will go and encourage them. Because for Inuit, the goal isn't to win gold. The goal is to make sure that everybody who's out there is doing their personal best. For Inuit, when you live in the community, you want to make sure that everybody that you live with is as strong as they can be. So I want to help people do better and get stronger, because that would make my life that much easier to survive. So it's not always about winning, it's about helping others become as strong as they can. So you can YouTube some videos. You will see some stuff like the neck pull, the 1 foot high kick, 2 foot high kick, Alaskan high kick, the knuckle hop. I mean, I can go on and on and on about the number of different games that Inuit have played for thousands of years. But I personally think it would be neat for you to delve into your own research and find these games and find these videos that you can then enjoy and show other people. So that's what we have for you on Inuit Games. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much.